Hello, my name is Jacob Todson, and welcome back to the Wisdom of Odin. Today, I want to take you on this lovely hike in Scotland. We have a beautiful destroyed church over here, and then the destination of our hike is this peak over here. But not only do I want to show you the beauty of Scotland, as I always do when I'm here, I also want to talk about a conversation in the pagan realm of things come up recently, and that is the term pray. As far as in not like pray as in an animal, but like pray as in like talking to the divine, so to speak, talking to the gods. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is because it's come up in my personal journey a lot. A lot of spiritual healers, shamans, and just people I've come across my path, not necessarily Christian, are saying you need to pray more and using the term pray, like pray to the gods, pray to the Great Spirit. And it's made me think like my disdain towards this word, especially coming as an American, thinking like the term pray is very Christian an origin, obviously, because we hear, we'll pray for you. We all see it on Facebook. People are like, oh, we'll pray for you, thoughts and prayers. And so I automatically have this like, ooh, when I hear someone, you need to pray more. And then I've really started to think about it over these last few weeks. And so I want to share my thoughts with you on this, on whether or not we should pray more. Should heathens pray? Should pagans pray? This isn't me sitting here with a book saying, this is the answer. Like, that's not what this video is about. This video is a lovely wee hike to a beautiful spot with some beautiful views and a conversation. So definitely want to hear your thoughts, and I'll share my thoughts along the way. So I think the first thing to really talk about here is the definition of prayer. Because again, I think this is what throws people off the most, is when most of us, most of my audience coming from America, we have this very Christian understanding of prayer. And so I think the moment we hear it, we recoil, we cringe. And I'm the same way. And so I think there's going to be a percentage of the audience here that's like, ooh, don't ever say that to me again. And then another percentage of people who are going to be like, oh, no, that makes sense. We should pray more. I do pray. And they use that terminology. So I think a lot of this is just an argument on language. I think of a lot of what people already do is a form of prayer. We just don't like that term. And so I think an alternative terminology, if it makes you feel better, is like invocation, invoking a deity. Because when you actually look to the definition of prayer, it's basically just a calling of words to God or other deities. And so it's kind of smacked on the end there, which I appreciate that it was there, that this was an option, was a prayer to other deities. And so prayer is, I think in the heathen context, we think a lot of what, ritual is a bloat, is giving an offering to the gods. Because this is like the way we connect to them. And I think that's something I personally have struggled with, is that I feel like I always need an offering in order to give to a deity. And so I feel like, I come out to a hike like this, I don't have an offering, and so I don't do anything. I don't have some tobacco to give, I don't have an apple to throw off the cliff, and so I don't say anything. When I think, I remember I met someone in Glastonbury, is that they told me if you have nothing to give, you can give your own spit in a ceremonial way. Which is, again, something that I think we're like, whoa, that means disrespect. So maybe that's not the best answer. But I've kind of taken that to heart, and I've been reflecting on it. And sometimes I've done that. And so if I'm at, a burial mound, I'll sit there and I'll reflect in gratitude, and I kind of call to the spit. And I say, the spit connects my DNA with yours, with the DNA in this earth. We all come from water. It's giving the life force of ourselves, water from our own bodies, into the earth. And what is it? The story of Kvasir. Kvasir was made from the spit of the gods. And so I think you can look into it from that perspective as well, is that there is a holiness to spit. And again, I say terms like holiness, and I think people are like, yee! And I just think that's a lot of everything. So, again, we can change these terminologies to sacred. We can change prayer to invocation. But ultimately, what they mean is the same thing. So that's kind of my perspective on it, as of sitting here right now, thinking about the terminology of using the prayer. But something I have been reflecting on a lot is that I think it is important to pray, to talk to the gods and the spirits without necessarily having an offering tied to it. So obviously, as I'm hiking up here, one of the things I'm doing is reflecting on this question as well as myself. And so I just got to this beautiful view right here. I don't know how well you're going to see it. I'll put it up here as well. That's the Wallace Monument in the distance. Built in the 1800s for William Wallace, Braveheart. And I look at it and I'm grateful for this view, And I think a lot of the times we can get stuck up on prayer as this thing that you do at your bedside with your hands crossed and you're, just thanking for all your blessings. But I think in a pagan sense, what prayer can be is simply just being out here, being thankful for the beauty of our world, and sitting here and vocalizing it, and saying, to the beauty of Scotland, to the beauty of the ancestors here, both pagan and non-pagan alike, I'm grateful for you, grateful for this day, grateful for the sun and all of its blessings. May these blessings continue and we have a safe height today. And I think that could be it. That could be a heathen prayer, is just simply being grateful for the day. And I think, again, we get caught up in this idea of prayer as having to be to God or to Jesus, and maybe to the saints if you're Catholic. But I think in a heathen sense, prayer can simply just be to the natural forces of our world or to the ancestors around us. Obviously, one of the reasons I love Scotland is because of my ancestral connection here that I've been feeling since I started coming. And just the deep beauty that I feel when I'm here because of that. And I think vocalizing that is a form of prayer and can be very impactful even without necessarily an offering, which is something we'll talk about here in just a second because that was something I was reflecting on as well. So we will continue on. So we finally reached the summit here, and I've been doing a lot of thinking on this, and I don't know if I have any other deep revelations, but I am very interested in hearing your thoughts on this as well. I think the only thing I really want to say is what brought this up, is why people have been bringing up this term prayer to me lately. And I think it's because after doing my ayahuasca experience, after having this plant medicine experience in the jungle, I've been reflecting a lot on fear and anxiety and depression. Because this is something that so many of us face day to day. And I think it's why so many of us get into spirituality, is to seek answers to these questions. And I was recently talking to someone about this, and the only thing they told me, and this is, a trusted source, it was a therapist that specifically for after ayahuasca integration experiences, and they were telling me to pray more. And that's the answer. And it's because at least I think, as a spiritual person, that we shouldn't be, asking something without giving something, without being like, hail the gods, and giving something to them. But I think this is not a healthy mindset. I think we've let our fear of Christianity, our fear of prayer, and these terminologies keep us from having these day-to-day connections that can actually take things for us. And I think this is why Christians stay with Christianity so long, is because they live in fear, and they see God as taking their fears. And I think maybe that's something we are missing out on sometimes going down these pagan paths, is because we want to reject Christianity so much that we end up rejecting things that may end up helping us. Again, some of you probably are like, that's stupid, we have to reject everything. I don't know if that's the healthiest mindset, because same thing with song. As I know many people who don't want to sing because of their fear of the church and their fear of their upbringing and becoming too Christian. Hello. You're a movie star now. And so, pardon me for eating my pretzel here. This is a long climb. I'm very hungry. I'm only human. By praying, we're giving our fears, our anxiety, our depression to the gods. And I've done this meditation kind of before, is with like the mother goddess, with Yord, the earth, Mother Earth. We're birthed from this. We're connected to it through the roots in our feet. And so hugging the earth, hugging a tree, and sending and praying and giving our fears to the earth, I think is a very powerful thing. Same thing with the sun. One of the earliest beings is the Sky Father, yeah? The sun, the sun god. And so calling out to the sun, calling out to the divine, and asking them to take things for us, to give us advice, or to send it into the earth. I don't think these necessarily need to be accompanied by an offering of, there you go. I don't think we have to do that. I think we can give gratitude, saying thank you for my life, thank you for what is given to me, thank you for the blessings. I need some help. If the gods are our parents, so to speak, is that not what a parent is there for? Is for us to talk to them without necessarily giving anything back, for them to teach us something. Now, I don't think every god is like this. That's why, definitely away from the Christian perspective, I think every deity and aspect that we call to is different. Like Odin, I've not always found to be the most loving. I think often you ask for help, and then he's going to give you a hard lesson that's going to help you in the end, but it's not necessarily going to be direct. Whereas someone like Freya, who I've been calling to lately, I think you can call to Freya. It says in the Eddas that she's one of the easiest gods to pray to, one of the easiest to contact and ask for help. So I do think the beauty of polytheism, of believing in multiple deities and believing in the spirits, is that there's so many different beings to call to, and I think we're missing out by not calling them to them more. And so I think that's my final conclusion of this. Let me know if you agree with me. You may not, and that's perfectly okay. We're allowed to disagree. I'm glad people disagree with me. I'm glad we have conversations. So let's have a discussion down below. Let's have a conversation on prayer. Is prayer important to heathenry? Should people pray more? What term would you use if you don't like the term prayer? Would you use the term invoke, or simply to speak to? So yeah, I think there's going to be a wide amount of opinions. I want to hear them, and let me know your thoughts down below. With that, thank you so very much. It's been a beautiful hike, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you've enjoyed these views. Oh, and at the very end of this video here, the drone footage. This is the first time I've ever brought my drone abroad, so I'm absolutely terrified to fly it. And so if you really appreciate the footage here, make sure you like and subscribe and all that good stuff. There's a big button on my face that should say subscribe. And then there's all the names of the people who support this channel on Patreon, and then other videos. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video here at the Wisdom of Odin.